In the last video, I unwrapped this and textured it in Substance Painter, just using the three materials, each material getting one UV grid. And in this video, I'm going to basically go the same distance, but using the UDIM method. And now I've done a bunch of videos on UDIMs, so it's going to be similar, but I'm going to take a slightly different approach, and I'll explain what I can. I'm not an expert in this by any means, but the UDIMs will allow me to get a better texture resolution, because instead of using one UV tile, let's say, for all of the wood, I'm actually going to split that up into about 4 tiles to do the wood, so I should get better texture resolution. Alright, so to set this up, I'm going to come over here in the UV editor and I'm going to click New, and I'm going to call this, I don't know, say, Bookcase UVs. Bookcase UV. And I'm going to set this, instead of 1024, I'm going to set this at 2048 to increase the texture resolution right off the bat. For the color, I'm going to bring the alpha all the way down. That way I'll be able to see my UVs a little bit better. And I'm going to click on Tile, and I'm going to click OK. And you can see, because I clicked Tile, that this one says 1001 in here. And the UDIMs are going to go up from 1000. So I'm going to come in here. I'm going to press U and unwrap, and there is my unwrap, and I can press N and pack. And I want to continue here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to press N, come to Image, and here it says UV Vertex, UDIM tiles, 2048 by 2048. And down here I have one UDIM tile, and it's 1001, that's this one. I want to add a few, so I click there. So this one's going to start at 1002. And I'm going to add, I probably need 6 more. I'm going to drop the alpha on all of them, and I'm going to click OK. And now I have a bunch of labeled UV tiles or UDIMs up to 1007. So I've already unwrapped the first part of this. Instead of now having all of the wood in the one UV tile, I'm going to come down here, make sure this one is selected, same seams as last time. I'm going to press U, unwrap, and I'm going to pack this. Again, you could just use Blender if you want. And I want to move that to the second tile. So I'm going to press G1, and it's going to move along 1. So at this point, if I select both of these and come in, I have the top part here, and I have the bottom part here, and it's using a full UV tile to not instead of being a small piece with all of the wood. And that should increase the texture resolution. So I'm going to carry on. In fact, I'm going to hide this one and hide that one. I'm going to come to the sides now, and I'm going to use Smart UV Project for this one. 0.003 for the island margin, which is a pretty good number to use, and it'll do that. And I'm going to pack this, and I'm going to move this to the third UV tile, G2, in other words, move 2 places. And I'm going to hide that. I'm going to come to this one, and I'm going to select, actually let's hide the books and get them out of here. I'm going to do that part, which is that piece and that piece, the shelves and that. Actually, I'm going to do them separately. Okay, I'll select that, U, unwrap, and hide. This one, U, unwrap, and hide. And these, unwrap and hide. Now I actually have to bring them back, tell you the truth. Hide that again in order to select them. So maybe I didn't want to do that. Okay, let's get rid of those. So this piece, this one, and that should be it. Let's go in. So they're all on top of each other, so I'm going to press N, pack, and I want to move them. I have stuff in the in 3 so far. I want to move them to the 4th one, so G3, and hide that. That leaves me with the doors. I'm going to do the doors, and for the doors I'm going to come in, and I'm going to, now I do have some seams on this. Alright, I put some seams, but I think I'm going to use Smart UV Project. Let's try that. Smart UV Project, and we have that. I'm going to pack it, and we'll see how well that works for us. So I think I'm moving them to, let's see, top, bottom, sides, that one. I think I need to move another one to there, and we can double check this later. So that's, I think that's the 5th one. Let's get the glass out of the way. So just unwrap, and that one I'm going to move to the 6th one. So G5 and hide, and then I'm going to come to all of this stuff. And let's see how I want to do this. Okay, still have the seams on that, so let's just unwrap it. Now, I just want to say that in order to pack UVs, you generally don't want too much of this curved stuff. You'd really like to have rectangle shapes, whether they're vertical or horizontal. That can pack them in really good. But because I'm using UDIMS, I'm not really too worried, although I am going to put all of the metal on one. So we'll see how it turns out. I'm going to Control I, and I'm going to, I don't think I can just unwrap that. Well, yeah, I did. And so we'll see how well that works. So I've done those pieces, and then I'm going to come to this, and I'm going to Smart UV project the hinges, and we could try to do all the metal on the same one. So we'll go smart UV project that thing, and so I'm not obviously caring too much in that one. So let's take all of that and try just packing that. Alright, so UV Packmaster packs it in quite well. Now I could straighten some of this. For example, if I select this, and do I want to turn off UV sync? Where is it? If I take this one, select a bit and Control L, I could manually straighten it, or I could use UV squares. You know, and I'm not going to worry too much about that. I'm going to take this and pack this again. Maybe I'll do some stuff on UV squares sometimes. This one I'm going to move. Puts it there. I think that is it actually. Let's bring everything back except the books. Let's hide the books, and let's come in and have a look at this. Here, let's maximize that view. Alright, so here are all of my UVs. There's the metals, there's the glass, there's the door. I'm not sure about this. And there's the other pieces of the wood itself as well. Okay, so we are done using the UV or the UDIM method anyhow for unwrapping with everything selected except for the books. Let's save and export an FBX. Alright, over to Substance Painter. I'm going to go File, New. I'm going to switch this to OpenGL and make sure this is checked off. Usually it's not, so use UV Tile Workflow. Now different versions of Substance Painter may say this ever so differently. And it's this one here, and OK. There is my bookcase, and if we come over to the texture set list, you will see that I have my materials. I had glass, metal, and wood. And I have UV tiles now. There's one for the glass, there was one for the metal, but there were 5 for the wood. And that was the thing that I was concerned about the resolution on. Alright, so the next thing I need to do, and Substance Painter is showing it at just 1024 resolution. I can up that later. Remember, I did the maps at 2K, so I will up this later as well. But we're going to come down to Bake Mesh Maps. I will output this at 2K, uncheck ID and thickness, and bake, and this will take a little bit longer than usual because of the UDIMS. So I'll pause and we'll come back when it's baked. Here's the model, and it's baked, and I'm just going over it looking for any obvious signs of problems. I'm not really seeing anything, but sometimes when you apply the materials or the textures, that's when you'll start seeing it. Alright, so we're going to do mostly the same steps we did last time. I'm on the glass material. I'm going to delete the default layer and come to my Smart Materials, search for glass, and for now simply drop that on. In the next video I'll work on the glass and the books, and we'll have a look at the bookshelves because we can't even see them. So there's the glass, just like last time. Same thing for the metal in Smart Materials. I'll stick with the same metal so that it looks similar to the last time. We'll just drop that on. I may not even go and put any dirt because there's a little bit of dirt in the smart material. So just quickly having a look. I'm not going to zoom in on it anyhow, but even if I came a bit close, it's not looking bad. It's looking just fine. And just recall I use Smart UV Project for most of this, and it's done a fine job. It is pretty smart. The only thing is, if you were to look at the UVs and you wanted to paint on the UVs, because Smart UV Project breaks it up into so many different islands, it'd be difficult to paint coherently on it. But if you're using procedurals like this, it's pretty good. All right, so now we're going to move on to the wood, and that's what we really wanted to have a look at anyhow. So I'm going to type in wood. I'm going to use the same wood as last time. This one here, similar to my Ancient Wisdom theme. And the wood already looks better than it did. All right, just like that. I just want to have a look at the wood, and maybe adjust the direction of the grain like last time and see how easy that is to do. Again, we're only at 1024, and this particular wood, you don't really see wood grain very well. It's very dotty anyhow. So, it might be a little difficult to see the resolution. But let's change the, let's see. See, this one is going up and down. Top looks okay. Bottom looks okay. But this one goes up and down, and the door is going to the side, and this is going to the side. So I'd like to change that. So let's come into this one, and I'm going to rotate this. And what I need to remember is, well, there's other ways to do this, but I need to remember that it's in the third tile. So I'm just going to rotate 90. In fact, what I might do is I might just gently decrease the size so I don't even have to move it or repack it. So I've just rotated that, and I'm going to do the same on that piece, but then I'm going to have to probably get, let me hide this, all of the pieces that were in that, this one, and those ones. I think those are all of the ones that were part of that. So let's rotate all of that, rotate 90. Pull it in, and I don't trust myself. Well, I could zoom in. See, it's a little bit over the edge, and UDIMS really don't like that. So I'm just going to scale it down a little bit, and that's fine. So that's done. I'll take you, bring that back. We'll get rid of the books. And the last one I want to try and do is the doors. And you know what? This is 1005. Really, I want to try just unwrap and pack. Before I worry about changing that, I want to try it with an unwrap on the seams, see if I get a little bit better. So I'm going to try, see if I can get this in on my own. I'll scale it down a tiny bit. So the rotation may be off on this one, and I have to fix that. I just wanted to try a different unwrapping. I mean, I could manually come in here and grab all these pieces and, and do this kind of thing. And I really probably should. Or unwrap it a little bit differently. Or see where some of these pieces are. And see this one, that's that one, and that one. Let's try this just for the fun of it. I mean, this part is actually kind of fun if my orientation is right, and I'm not too worried about having it exactly the same. I could actually even take all of these and come on, and get all of these and move them. Whatever. Yeah. All right. Well, anyways, let's see how that looks. If I take everything now except for the books, yeah. Let's double check. Yeah, okay. Unless I made a mistake, it's easy to fix. Let's export that again. All right, here's what we've got now. So this stuff is going across like that. So is that piece. This piece is going up and down, and the doors are going up and down, which is exactly what I wanted. Let me go on a little bit more, and then we'll have a real close look at these textures and talk about that. I'm going to add some dirt and some edge wear. So let's bump up the roughness. Same kind of steps almost all the time, and that'll give you consistency if you're putting this in a scene. Okay, we'll drop some dirt on here, and I'll just lower that a little bit. Okay, something like that. Let's do, call that dirt. Let's do another fill layer, only color, with a black mask and a generator, and we'll use the middle edge generator. And those are a little nicer. I'm just going to drop this down like that, and then I'm going to come over here and I'm going to drop the opacity so you just sort of see it. Okay, that might even be too much. That is too much. Just want to have a little bit in there. So I've got that, and I'll call that edges. And how about we do just a bit of like other stuff on here, like let's just use color, maybe height. Maybe we'll drop the height down a bit, like stains and nicks out of it. Let's do a black mask and a fill, and over here let's type in grunge and just take some grunge. I don't know which one. One of these grunges. Maybe not that one. What's this? Just have a little bit of something else on there. Yeah, and I could even do that. Just a little bit of something. All right, before we get too far, let's do the pattern, and then we will talk about the wood textures. So let's call that grunge. All right, I want to do a pattern, and I'm going to do it up there. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to add a fill. I'm going to make color and height. I'm going to boost the height here. We're going to add a black mask and come over here to my polygon fill, and I only want it in there. So come over here. I'm going to use UV chunk, and this is why I put seams here so that I could isolate where I want that. So it's white right now, so I'm going to stay like that. Come around here, and it's going to be just in that place there. Okay, so back to my layers. On the main layer here, let me call this pattern, so just remember that. On my layer here, not on the black mask, I'm going to add a fill, and I'm going to come in here and I want just the height, and I'm coming to my procedurals, and I'm going to use the same thing I used in my last project. I'm going to use this. I'm going to drop that onto the height. You can see that there. I'm going to tile it all the way up. And already the resolution of that is looking better. So come back to that main layer and just alt click the height. I don't want the color in there. And I'll come back to the fill, and we'll just decide if I want this to be maybe 2. And I think I do. And I mean, I don't know, that this looks probably maybe better on a metal flooring or something. But that's what I used in the last video when I made that museum scene, sort of from Uncharted, but for Ancient Wisdom. And I have my pattern in there now. Let's switch the lighting to the one I used last time, this one. And I can change the color of the wood, but I'm not really too bothered. Now, note that this is just 1024, and already it looks pretty good. I'm going to bring this wood up to 2K now. And that's going to make a difference. I'm not saying that you want to look at this microscopically, especially considering how I unwrapped it with basically with Smart UV Project. But that is how the wood looks. And that is going to be absolutely fine with me. Look at these little dots. So by using the UDIM method, I've got a better result. I'll do some work on the books and maybe some lighting in here, and I'll come back. I'll try to come back for one last video. I may have to texture the books in the video, or maybe I'll texture the books on my own or something. Just get this stuff in here. I may have to retexture this, we'll see. And then I'm going to bring the textures into Blender. We'll just set it up, and we will be done once again. All right, so thanks very much for watching, and I hope you'll tune in to the last part of this bookcase series.